Welcome to lesson 125, adding and subtracting like fractions. Today we'll talk about how to add like fractions and how to subtract like fractions. First things first, we have to understand what are like fractions. So when we look at the word like, if you say something like, oh, those two look alike, or we have the same likes, okay, they're two different meanings. We're talking about the meaning of like looking alike or having something that is the same or in common. So in this case, when we talk about like fractions, we're talking about fractions with the same denominator. So in this case, we could use 3/5 and 4/5 as examples. They are like fractions because they have the same denominator of 5. Right, so let's talk about building a snowman. This will help you understand what it means to add like fractions. Right? So since we live in Wisconsin, it's never too early to talk about snow. So building a snowman, how many pieces are there to a snowman's body? Well, we have the bottom, the middle, and the top. So we're just talking about that. We're not talking about all the extra stuff. We're just talking about the 3 pieces needed for the body. So we need 3 pieces. We need the bottom, which is 1/3, the middle, which is 1/3, and the top, which is 1/3. Okay, so how much bigger does the snowman get as we build him? So if we start with 0 and we add 1/3 of the body, because it's not the whole thing, so we can't say we add 1, it's 1 out of the 3 pieces that we need. If we're doing 0 plus 1/3, well, this 0 actually means 0 pieces out of 3 plus 1 piece out of 3. How many pieces do we have here? Well, we have 1 out of 3. So 0 plus 1/3 would be 1/3. Now I have 1/3 of the body, and I'm going to add another 1/3. I'm not adding 2/3. I only added 1 piece, so I'm only adding 1/3. But together I have 2/3 of the body. So 1/3 plus 1/3 gives me 2/3. So I'm adding a third each time, and then each time the number of thirds that I have. So I had 1, I added another 1, so now I have 2. Now I have 2/3 of the body finished, and I'm going to add my last 1/3, and I have 3/3. And anytime we see the same number on top and on bottom, we know that that means I have 1 whole. So you'll notice when we're adding like fractions, we only add the numerators. So in this case, we're only adding 3 and 2. The denominator stays the same. And the reason this happens is if you take a look at fraction bars, so in this case we have eighths. So if I have 3/8 plus 2/8 for this one, so I take 3/8 up here, and I want to add 2/8 to that. 1, 2. Since all the pieces are the same size, I can look and see, well, I had 3/8, I added 2 more eighths, so that would give me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5/8. So I started with 3, I added 2 more, so it's 3 plus 2 gives me 5 out of the 8 that I need to make a whole. It's the same when we subtract like fractions. Only the numerators get subtracted. Okay, and the reason this works is because the fraction pieces are the same size. Okay, if we had done something like 1/8 minus 1/2, it wouldn't work because the pieces are not the same size. Right, so if you look at it this way, just one of each, your pieces have to be the same size in order to add and subtract them. And in order for your pieces to be the same size, you know that they're the same size if you have a same denominator. So in this case, I have like fractions. I can do 9 minus 4 gives me 5. So, and I know my denominator stays the same. This is the most common misconception because we change the rules with multiplication, but in this case the denominator stays the same. So adding and subtracting like fractions, the denominator stays the same. Right? So I would like you to try these on your own. I think that you can do this without any more examples or help. So I want you to try 12 sixteenths minus 9 sixteenths, 3 twelfths plus 5 twelfths, 14 nineteenths minus 5 nineteenths plus 3 nineteenths. Make sure to show your work in your workbook. This will also be on Edmodo for you to take the quiz and show your answers. And if you have any questions, make sure to post them to Edmodo so we can go over them in class tomorrow.